Have you been in the pub with the camera yet? Because there are definitely a few characters in there. $40 years. That's how long Hawkwind have been going, you know. 40 years. In the same band. Different people, obviously. This band's been going 22, I can't imagine another 18. I don't even want to think about that. I've done some bits and pieces of recording for other bands over the years. First one was probably recording for the Pogues. I did 2 tracks on their Pogue Mahone album. Hawkwind used to have a violin player called Simon House back in the 70s. He was a great player. They hadn't had a violin player since, and I thought that it was a bit of a shame that they hadn't got a violin player, so I offered my services on a track called Assassins, which is one of their sort of more well-known tunes. It's a great violin tune. Later on that year, I called up their manager and said, look, I see you're heading out on tour. Do you fancy having a violin player along? So I kind of invited myself on tour with them. We went off and did a 2-week tour just around the UK. So it's very different to Levelers stuff. The Levelers play songs. That's what we do. It's mostly most of our music's based around backing up the words. The words are really the most important thing with us, and we try and keep the music dancey. Hawkwind have extended sort of jams or instrumentals or soundscapes, whatever you want to call it. They'll start a song and then they'll trigger lots of keyboards and drum samples, and all of a sudden this track will be flying off in another direction. And you've just got to decide what part you want to play in that direction once it starts going. It's liberating because there are no boundaries whatsoever. I don't have to be the violin that fits in between the guitars and around words. I can make any noises I like, absolutely anything. It's very loose, but they know exactly what they're doing with it. They know how to mould it and turn it into and change direction after 3 or 4 minutes. And so I just listen to what's going on and kind of join in when I feel like the time's right. Playing with another band, it does feel a little odd because I've been playing with the Levelers for 22 years and I'm very comfortable with it. It's a completely different feel. The music's completely different. It's dance, but they picked up techno at the beginning of the 90s, really, and so they've run off in their kind of rock techno direction, which I loved at the time. I loved all that dance stuff when it first came out, and the Levelers were never going to really involve ourselves with that sort of music. So for me, it's great to be able to play in a kick-ass techno band as well. I guess with Hawkwind, I'm joining in on somebody else's trip, whereas the Levelers is my trip. That's I'm part of driving that in the direction that it goes. Whereas with Hawkwind, I'm just there to add really more to add kind of textural stuff. It's a bit of a kind of boyhood dream, really, to actually be playing for them. The Levelers tour finishes on the 28th of November, and the Hawkwind tour before Christmas starts on the 4th of December. I don't know if I'm doing that tour with them or not, so if they're watching, will one of them get in touch with me and tell me whether I'm doing the tour or not? I've got no idea. Please.